Welcome to the Scale Model Podcast. In this podcast, we aim to entertain, inform, and promote the hobby of scale model kit building with interviews, reviews, and news about the hobby. The podcast is available bi-weekly where your favorite podcasts are found, including iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. You can also get it from our website at scalemodelpodcast.com, where you can find show notes, photo gallery, and so much more. You can also subscribe to get notifications on all our updates, new episodes, and video content. Please support the Scale Model Podcast on Patreon. Patreon supporters enjoy early access to content and exclusive contests. Your Patreon support helps us to offset hosting and other costs to bring the podcast to you. Welcome to episode 119 of the Scale Model Podcast, sponsored by Cult TV Man, Sean's Custom Model Tools, and Return to Kit Form. I'm your host, Stuart Clark, and this is what we call the post-Wonderfest recovery, hangover, whatever you want. Two of our guests tonight are actually right in the middle of that. But first we'll talk about, because we actually have an even split tonight. We have 2 Canadians, 2 Americans tonight. So, in the spirit of free trade and détente, first we'll start with north of Lake Erie, which is currently experiencing thunderstorms, just like I am, in the land of restored builds and restored cabins and other such good stuff. Mr. Jeff Highland, how are you, sir?
I am recovering from all the frickin' labor and work and everything that we've been doing down here. But you're absolutely right. We've got cyclonic clouds outside and thunder like crazy. So it's very exciting. But with any luck, the listeners will be dramatically paused when we lose power.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we hope that doesn't happen. We do notice the storm center seems to be just north of Sarnia, is where our good buddy Dave Blappy Gertan lives. So, we're just going to blame him.
He's still giving off auras from Wonderfest, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he had a good Wonderfest. Okay. Also, from west of Chicagoland, where they had a nice gentle rain today, unlike us in Ontario, where we go hardcore. Mr. Terry Measley, how are you, sir?
Well, not that doesn't happen here, but after 3 or so weeks of nothing, a nice, long, all-day cool rain was very welcome.
Awesome. Okay. And then last but certainly not least, our returning guest, President, I believe, still the Cincinnati Scale Modelers, talking to us from the WKR building with 10,000 watts of power in Cincinnati. It's Mr. Mike Ward. How are you, sir?
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here again. Always appreciate and enjoy the show. Weather here, we are also recovering from a drought, and we've got some rain coming tonight. So I'm excited to see that, just a mild rain. And I am recovering from the Wonderfest hangover.
So there we go.
I was
appreciate
just going to say that. I was just going to say, you're recovering from a drought, and I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get right into Wonderfest, our favorite show of the year. Both Terry and Michael and Mr. Anthony Goodman, who's not here, and we have several theories on that, all went down to Wonderfest. So, Terry, why don't you go ahead and start and give us some of the details, some of the cool things you saw?
Yeah. So, to the contest room, 1,049 entries, another record for Wonderfest.
Wow.
I helped get entries in on Saturday morning, and the line was unbelievable.
Yeah.
You've got 4 hours to get them in, and everyone's down there waiting.
Oh boy.
It was almost all done in 2.5 hours.
That's good.
And we're just standing around going, this is really strange. Like, well, guys, I guess I'm going to go or walk around for a while.
Organization, see, good organization. That's what does it.
Yeah, so I helped organize the demos this year and then babysat them. So I was pretty much in all the vehicle demos,
cool,
hanging out there, at least getting them started. A couple of them I snuck down to the dealer room but it was a really good slate of demos. Yeah. It was mostly construction demos this year, with the exception of Blappy's, who showed his clear coat techniques.
Yeah.
On the vehicle side, it was all construction stuff, everything from Stephen Burns kicking off both days with showing how to work Blender.
Right.
He makes it look easy, but he's an excellent presenter. And he has a course. I'll have to get the link to that.
Yeah.
He shared Discord stuff. Plus, he runs like a 5-part course online.
Cool. Sorry, Terry, does anyone ever record those demos?
Only if someone does personally.
Oh, okay.
Wonderfest is not going to record them and share them.
No, that's okay. I was just curious.
Yeah.
The blender one would have been interesting to catch.
Yeah, well, he's got videos and he's got
Yeah,
online books and things like that
right.
that do like they're very set up for specific tasks.
Yep.
Which is actually really useful.
Cool.
So BP Taylor brought his vac form stuff down. He brought the little dental vac former you can buy, and one he built for it probably cost you about $400 now to build it. But the way he built it, he's got 3 different platens in it, so he can run 3 different sizes of plastic. And most of his work, if you've ever seen his work, they're generally golds. He finishes very well, but then they're all original designs for the most part. And he does it, builds up blanks and vac forms them. So then that's plastic. And he showed a whole bunch of techniques he uses. And that's what Wonderfest is, show it and share it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and a highlight at the end of it, Bobble Young, who scratch builds these big, I think 1/144th scale, I think, Star Wars Corvettes. So the first one we saw was the Hammerhead Corvette, and then he built the Corellian Corvette, and he scratch builds it. It's all styrene fabrication. He's sharing his techniques on all that kind of stuff. He's an engineering professor. He goes, I do the math and I do the cone section, cut it out on my silhouette, score the styrene on the silhouette cutter, pop it off, wrap it around this tube, put it in boiling water.
No problem. Yeah.
All that.
Yeah.
It's like, that's all the boiling water stuff I saw on a couple other ones. It's like, how do I do this? I wrap it around this piece of PVC so I get the curve right. Boiling water. And there you go. But cool. Yeah, Bobble's hilarious. I'm going to get him on the podcast.
Yeah, we definitely have to. Good. I saw the model there, and it was monster and absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, so it just goes on. There's so many good presentations.
Very cool. All right, Mike, what about you?
It was a great time. I always enjoy the show. Thank you, Terry, for bringing me down. About 7 or 8 years ago. I love it. Really don't want to miss it. Again, like Terry said, over 1,000 entries. It was fun just being to many shows, going through the vendor room and just the display room, you're elbow to elbow trying to get around. Some people may look at that, oh, this is horrible, I can't get around. But at the same time, it's like, that's just a great tribute to how good this show is. Yep. So many people show up, so many entries. It was just phenomenal. So kudos to, Wonderfest for a great successful show and breaking records again. It's fun. We go every year. And you build these friendships over time. And now, you go, you see your friends every year. Everybody's excited to see everybody. It's kind of almost like, we call it now, it's like a family reunion centered around a model show.
Yeah, that's what I
love it. Yeah. It really is. It's just, I had so much fun. Obviously entering, shopping the vendor booths, spending more than I should. And, but, the real fun is when you really just get to network and talk with the friends, and then you meet new people on top of that. And, this year I got to meet Anthony Goodman for the first time, and, he was down and, and back to Terry's, comment earlier, show and share. Yeah. He was so generous. I sat down with him in the, I don't know, Terry, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Resident Illuminati, kind of party room in the Grant room there. We sat there one night, over a couple beers, and of course he was drinking, Dave Lewis's Clear Liquid.
Oh yeah, Anthony.
Let's talk about that.
Anthony was.
We'll come back to that.
Okay.
All right, we'll come back to that.
Yeah, but I just want to say how open he was to share his knowledge. I think he won the best mecha. He got the award for best mecha. And this was it a VF4, Terry, that he built?
It's a VF1.
VF1.
Yeah, it looks stunning.
But the paint job was just
desert. Was that the one in the desert?
Yeah, the tan scheme one.
Yeah.
The brownie. It was just brownie.
Yeah, but the paint job on this thing was just phenomenal. And I sat down with him probably for a good 30 minutes, and we just talked about how he did that. And he shared everything with me. So here's how you do it. You prime it, you light sand it, and then you kind of, thin your paints, like 70 to 30, and just, instead of 1 or 2 coats, it might be 7 or 8, but you build it up gradually and really get that depth. So I really enjoyed, talking with him over that. So it was a lot of fun. But yeah, about the Clear Liquid,
he was hungover Sunday morning.
Oh,
what happened? Which is like, well, Dave Lewis gave me this stuff. It's like, you did not accept a liquid from Dave Lewis.
Oh,
Did you?
dear.
Well,
Yeah,
there was your
yeah,
mistake.
yeah.
I
So-
gather
so-
Dave's known for
Woo!
interesting things.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So to put it in perspective, the clear liquid that Dave Lewis was sharing, it smelled exactly like, to me, a paint thinner.
Oh.
So it's
Oh,
like,
dear.
it had a very strong, resemblance to that. It's like, well, I guess I'll drink it. I had a little bit too, but I kind of went on with Terry. We stayed to beers, some canned beers, and we had a good night and a fun evening. And then of course the cans disappeared, and then I had to go to a bottle. It's like, oh wow, I guess, well, who's got a bottle opener? There wasn't a bottle opener around, but Ashley had this little bottle opener kind of thing attached to her cell phone. It was the funkiest thing I've ever seen. So she pulled it off and handed it to me, and I went to open the bottle, and it was a little tough, and all of a sudden it kind of like just snapped.
Oh,
got
dear.
got the bottle open, but then I'm just kind of sitting there, and I'm getting ready to drink my bottle, and somebody looks at me and says, "Mike, are you okay? Your hand's kind of red." I look down, I was like, "Oh, we've got an issue here." So okay, we've got a 911 moment. So
Oh, dear.
Ashley, Ashley, being the nurse she was, she took care of me and patched me up. So
Oh, that's good. Was this in the Canadian Embassy again?
No.
Yeah.
No, thank goodness.
So the
Okay.
Resin Illuminati group, last year they started
troublemakers.
renting a one of the rooms, one of the meeting rooms,
Mm-hmm.
because suites are
Yeah.
and it's great, and I'm happy they do that because it's big enough that we can sit down, you can have a bunch of conversations.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's
it
good.
was a lot of fun. Yeah.
So Mike, as may I recommend as a Canadian, see, we always carry a bottle.
Yes.
Like
Exactly.
like
yeah.
that's just you
Yeah.
can't be Canadian without it. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
highly recommend that.
yeah. Well, in the spirit of the show, I was trying to bring, it's a sci-fi horror show, so I wanted to really bring a nice 1-to-1 scale of
There
some
you go.
horror. So
There you go.
we
It's
go.
blood.
I
You know
got
what?
it.
I think we could do a category. Let's do a bottle slicing through a hand for next year. Yeah, we can
Yeah.
I
totally.
think taking one for the team, Mike. Good for you.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now let's talk about the serious stuff. Make sure our spouses aren't in the room. Terry,
What'd you spend? What'd you buy?
how bad were you?
So we stopped over at Scale Reproductions, a great little shop as well.
Brother. Okay.
I bought a few things there.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen this Fine Molds A7M kit.
Ooh, nice.
It's like it's the
nice.
last, maybe the last version of
All
a
right.
Zero.
Terry will
Right.
Terry will send us a picture. We'll throw it in the show notes.
But at Wonderfest itself, I only bought 2 kits, and then one I bought something from Blappy as well.
Yep.
From out of his collection. So I only bought those essentially 3 things, but that's like $500 worth of,
So what you're gonna
of things. So
what were the three things?
so
No,
Cretaceous.
Oh.
Terry. You have to jump in and you have to sort of qualify that. You're still net ahead.
Yeah, you are.
Well, I'm not. That money. So I sold probably about $800 worth of Mark Youngblood's
Okay.
figures at
All
the
right.
show.
Oh.
But that's not my money.
Yeah.
That's Lisa's money.
That's Lisa's.
Ah.
Now I have to cut her a check for that. So
All right then.
I
You stand
used that
corrected.
money. I used that money to buy these things.
Oh, dear.
Which is always dangerous, having money in your pocket.
Yes.
I want to get Sean Folks on. He's Cretaceous Creations.
Yes.
So he works with paleontologists. He does reconstruction stuff you see in museums and all that. And he has a line of his own kits as well. So I got this woolly rhinoceros.
Oh, very nice.
He had that at the prototype at last year's Wonderfest, and it's 1/15th scale. It's a pretty
Big
good
boy.
sized deal, yeah. But he's doing other snaps as well, including some that I want to get him on and talk about that he's working with the paleontologist at actually bringing
That'd be neat. Bring them
the
both.
science to life,
Yeah.
right? Because people think dinosaurs, but dinosaurs weren't the only big things back then. The line of vertebrates that led to mammals was
Right.
also big. That, and I walked past a newer vendor I didn't recognize, but then again, I don't always know the guys, and saw this.
The white wolf.
Ooh. Yes.
Yep. Elric, the
By
white wolf.
Michael Moorcock, authorized
Michael
by the
Moorcock.
author. Yes.
Yeah, here's the
Nice.
story.
From
He's
Elric.
sharing this online, and Michael Moorcock's daughter or someone saw this because this
Mistake.
is This sculpt is off of one of the books,
That's
essentially.
gorgeous. Yeah.
But he's on a boat, and the
Right.
sculptor didn't want to sculpt a boat, so he sculpted some rocks, essentially,
Yeah.
a cliff face. And he got a message from Michael Moorcock saying, I like it. I love it. It's beautiful. I know what garage kits are. If you sell more than 200 of them, you can give me a kickback.
Cool.
And he's like, knowing full well he's not going to sell 200.
No. But still, that's nice of him.
It's gorgeous, and this also is 1/8 scale, so it's very, very nice.
Wow.
That'll be good size. That'll be fun.
It's a striking sculpt.
That says a lot about Michael Moorcock, though, too.
Yeah. First thing I was like, I didn't know Michael Moorcock was still alive.
He was a hero of mine when I was a kid.
He's pushing 90. He's pushing 90.
Up there. Yeah, he's getting up there. I know. I discovered that last year. I didn't realize he was still with us. But yeah.
Yeah. And then I got this is what I bought from Dave. One of the Vulcan cruisers from Enterprise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dave's a dangerous guy. Just ask Jeff to buy.
Well, he's selling his stash. I should be selling mine, but I'm buying his.
Yeah, Jeff's bought a couple too.
I almost get the sense I'm just trading stashes with people.
That's what it is. It's like garage sales. You literally just change it. Yeah. Okay, Mike, how about you, sir?
Yeah, I was better this year than last year. I spent like a fiend last year. This year I contained myself, but I got some really cool builds, and I picked up some really good tools. So just little things, just little things along the way that will help. So one of the items I got, Blackheart models. George Stevenson, you really know him for many years now, and met him up in Minneapolis when I was on the business trip. So we had a great time there. But I got one of his smaller scale Nosferatus. So I really, I'm looking forward to that. It'll be one of the first figures I've done. It'll push me out of my comfort zone, and I want to try it just to see where it goes. And then the other item I got, called TV Man, was the Bandai Star Wars AT-AT. 144th. I can't find it anywhere in Cincinnati, so I went there kind of on a mission to find it, and I went to a couple booths. Yeah, I almost bought an NPC and an AMT. I was like, went by his booth. He said, the last one we got. I said, I'll take it.
There you go. Steve's good for that.
Yeah. So
I did by chance talk to a guy who bought out speaking of Steve, bought out DLM's lighting stuff and designs and all that. And he's going to be continuing those. So Don Matthews died a number of years ago. He had these little lighting kits for various subjects with little boards, little timer chips, and all the LEDs you need and all that. And he would sell them as the packets. So those are going to be coming back.
Awesome. Nice. Speaking of Steve, because he did a post today, and he's also one of our sponsors. Fair disclosure, but he had some exciting stuff. They announced some new announcement. The Aurora Witch with the deluxe art box packaging. That was the big thing reveal from Doll and Hobby. And Jeff, you and I will like this. Also, Shadowmobile Interceptor and UFO from Jerry Anderson's UFO for 2024.
I saw that.
You saw the Interceptor there. Yeah, that was nice.
I immediately thought of you.
Yep, I thought of you. A lot of stuff coming out from round 2, updated Death Star, TIE Bomber, USS Cerritos, Klingon Battle Cruiser, the 1650 reissue, the Enterprise D 1400 reissue, and Enterprise from Strange New World with updated parts. All sorts of goody things. So we're recording this on Tuesday the 13th. Hopefully we'll see a post from him before we go live, and I'll link to it. So they had a great time too, and also an absolute ton of photo galleries as always. We're gonna try and link a few more. I'm just looking at Matt Cook's pictures here.
And Matt was a first time attendee.
Yeah, he had a lot of fun. I love the one of the 2001. The Ares landing with the bay opening up. The first picture there, just some absolutely amazing. Again, every time you see the gallery from Wonderfest, I'm always blown away by the quality. And again, over 1,000 kits.
And the humor too. There's a lot of good humor in some of those things.
Oh, there are. Absolutely. Yeah. There seems to be a lot of variations of the classic Tinkerbell from Disney. I noticed a couple of those.
I don't remember Tinkerbell being like that one.
No, neither do I.
Well, there's fairies, right?
Yeah. I know.
She was nicer than most fairies.
Yeah, it's true. Does anyone know who built the 72nd F-19 Air Racer? Because that looks really nice. It's a couple in there.
Are you on Matt Cook's photos?
Yeah. You'll see it eventually, but it's nice. Let's see.
This silence is everybody looking through somebody else's.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. That's
So the
okay.
listeners
That is
know.
a team.
Yeah, but just again, some just absolutely amazing work. Some of the figures, just gorgeous. With some with LEDs and is there any
Oh,
that? Yeah, go
that's
ahead.
Dave's. That's Blaps.
Is that Blappy's?
You see the little Blaps flats
okay,
on
that's
it.
what I thought. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so that's over on the demos. That's over on rather the displays because
Yeah.
Dave was not competing.
Yeah, because he also had his 1/1000th Intrepid class with the Rick Sternbach decals, I believe.
Yeah, that was on Rick's table.
Yeah, that was on Rick's table, and it was good. He had him sign it. But just some amazing work. The figures always blow me away.
That shiny VF1 Roy Fokker Valkyrie.
Yeah, that's gorgeous too.
That's a gold.
Yeah.
We all looked at that and we saw 2 blemishes on it.
Which I don't see a blemish.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't unless you looked at it exactly right with the light. That's the judges, right?
That's right.
We have to look for those things.
I know. Go ahead.
It's shinier than you usually see for Valks, but it's a CAG bird, right? It's highly polished.
Exactly.
It was gorgeous. I don't know.
I read something in one of the Facebook feeds on Wonderfest that somebody was saying that like everybody got an award. It was like everybody wins a prize day or something.
No. So there's different teams doing. I don't want to talk too much about the judging politics this time around. I can tell you what vehicles judging was like, and there were plenty of things that we just gave check marks to. And on the sheet, that just means we saw it.
Yeah.
That not everything got merits.
That was it. It was merit. Somebody got worth merit or something like that.
Yeah, because it's like amps, right? They do gold, silver, bronze. They don't do first, second, third. So it's a bit more challenging.
They're open categories.
Yeah.
So there's different judging for different categories then.
Yeah, there's teams of judges.
Yeah.
And so someone had asked me something. Well, I didn't judge that one, but let's go look at it and I'll tell you what I see. Yeah.
The other one I really like for an innovation was the Seaview finds the Nautilus, like the Nautilus from 20,000 Leagues, the Disney version. That was neat.
Where are you seeing these pictures? I thought I saw every photo.
He's probably at the bottom of it already, right?
I'm near the here. You know what? Tell you what I'll do.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just trust me on this.
I'm sure it's great, but I want to see it too.
So
do all our listeners, by the way.
Well, we can point that out. There's the one I'm looking at, Jeff. I'm sharing my screen.
Oh, that's kind of cute. I like that.
Yeah. So the Seaview finds it, and then just some really cool different ideas, right?
Yeah, that's fun. That's what Wonderfest is fun. Is fun for. I mean, amongst other things.
Yeah,
just the variety of imagination that's there.
Yep, exactly. Ferengi. Slightly different R2D2, just some very cool things. This I liked from the MPC table, all the different scales of eagles.
That's something.
Yeah.
What scale is that one in the back? That's huge.
I'm not sure, but maybe it's studios. Those would be the actual studio scales.
Oh, it's huge.
There might be some of the studio props. Do you know who that was?
Well, that was the display in what was the gentleman's name, Terry? Was it Nate?
Nick Tate.
Nick Tate,
who played Alan Carter.
Yeah. That was right next to his table where he was signing autographs.
So they obviously, because I know that there was a whole group of Space 1999 fans that brought a lot of stuff in. But anyway, we're gonna throw a lot more pictures there. From what I gather, our local group did quite well. Our good buddy from our club, Bill Webb, was there again with that gorgeous figure he did. So
he had a couple there. He also had one of those fantasy. I can't remember which Japanese animation show it was from, but like a racer or something that he had done with Wonder Bread logos all over it.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh, it was a van ship. A van ship from Last Exile. Yeah. I didn't get to judge that, so I didn't get a really good look at it. He was wondering what. You always wonder what judges see. What
Yeah,
knocks
I'll
you
have
down
to
or
I'll have to
whatever
get a
like
photo
that.
from him of that because
Yeah, I thought that was a great execution, though.
yeah.
Yeah. Bill Scott has a lot of fun ideas. He's the guy who did the X-wing and Canadian snowbirds markings last year.
He bought a couple figures from Mark's collection. He bought one I was tempted to keep, but
Here you go. So
banked
we'll
it
have
up,
to
man.
hear.
I want to see it at a Wonderfest.
Well, no,
Yeah.
well, we have our build night tomorrow, so we'll grill them on all that. So
Yeah.
we'll make sure
Well,
we do that.
He was kind enough to pick me up a Thunderbird 2 kit that I've been salivating over for several years. So
Excellent. That'll be good. Well, you guys will have to send us pictures of some of your purchases, please. And we'll add those to the show notes as well. Okay. Other shows. The Malaysia Hobby Show for 2023 was on. This is another huge show down in Malaysia, obviously. And again, the quality of the kits. I've linked to the Modeling News had one of their reporters there, and a ton of photos. And I've also linked to the Facebook page. Again, just hundreds of pictures and just amazing work. Absolutely amazing work. I heard they add to just an absolute ton of stuff on the table.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, so definitely check that out. I know it's always popular, and their Facebook page is very good when they go through the awards and all that, so you can see a lot of the individual awards and stuff like that. So very cool there. Definitely check that out as well. All right, and since we have Mike on, we should talk. It's not until October, but you have your model show coming up a month after ours.
We do, yeah. Again, in the Cincinnati, we call it Model Natty, and it's at the Tri-State Warbird Museum. We're on 3 years now, and I think we've really figured it out. We
Awesome.
have, it's a great museum, and they've got 7 fully restored flyable World War II aircraft, and with that, we've got one hangar. We will have all of the models on display. In the other hangar, we have approximately 53 vendor tables. And it's a great show. We typically get maybe 450 people show up. Cool. And with that, roughly, I would say maybe 40 entrants, 375 models on display for judging. So yeah, it's a great little show. We've got great feedback over the years, and it just seems to be getting better every year. So awesome. Really looking forward to the show. Yeah, it's Saturday, October 21st this year, and hours are pretty much 9 to 4. Yep. And it's a great little venue, and hope anybody listening to the podcast can come out.
Definitely. Well, we'll also have you on before the show again, and we'll make sure we plug it again. Yeah, we love having our Heritage Con in the museum. There's something special about it. It really makes a difference. Exactly. Yeah. All right. So other news, we also have at the podcast, we have a merchandise page now, because I noticed your IPMS club has a merchandise page as well. Everyone seems to have a merchandise page. So we decided to get on the bandwagon. So I'm working with Redbubble, and I've just kind of started. I just got the single logo right now and throwing it on a bunch of things. You see all these expensive models I hired.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, eh? But yeah,
I didn't realize you had so many people in your family.
I know, eh? So many friends, right? So yeah, we got stickers, we got glossy stickers, all the standard stuff, mugs, pins, stuff like that. I'm still playing around with it. I like the fact these guys have a desk mat. They seem to be popular these days. So anyway, I've added a link also to our website, scalemodelpodcast.com. There's a merchandise link there, and we'll have it in the show notes. So yeah, feel free. It does help. We do get a cut, and it helps support the podcast. So definitely check that out. I'll try not to bore people too often about that, but what can I say? I'm going to bore them anyway. So, exactly. All right. We had a couple of interesting things in the mailbag. And of course, as soon as I said that, I closed the damn page. A lot of good comments. We had, who did I send? Did I send you one, Jeff? I sent you someone. Yeah. What was a gentleman was reading some of the books we were talking about last week.
Yes. Well, he loves reading books about the Pacific War in particular. And, So he wanted to ask me if I would accept him as a Facebook friend so we could chat. And I did. And we haven't actually chatted, but I'm seeing his feeds now, and it's very interesting. Yeah,
Yep.
Bob Bear. It's Bob Bear, and he's in Charlotte, North Carolina. So, Bob, great to meet you, or great to at least meet you through Messenger. And the voice of Bob, I love he's got a website called www.thevoiceofbob.com. He's a voice actor. I guess he reads books and various other things. He does commercials, so it's kind of fun.
Yep, that's going to be fun. So a lot of good links. Some people were commenting on some of because Terry was doing a lot of sharing on Facebook. So a lot of from Wonderfest. So we were doing a lot of sharing there, a lot of positive comments there.
Great. I was trying to get some videos. I got a few, but just little say hi videos. John Eves did one, and that's just after I bought that Elric kit.
Yep. No,
and I was trying to get a few others, but I'll try to do that more.
You got a great section of the Macross, including Anthony's kit. And, as you say, a lot of Macross goodness. So definitely. So as always, don't forget, you can always send us an email at scalemodelpodcast@gmail.com. And we're happy to read the emails, and, we'll go from there. All right. Hobby announcement time, kids. So Atalery, latest June releases. The one I'm particularly excited about, we'll get to that in a minute. The AMX Ghibli? I can never.
Ghibli, yeah.
Ghibli 1/72nd scale. It's a single-engine ground attack aircraft. It was a collaborative effort between the Italian and Brazilian aircraft industries. So it was initiated in the 80s to replace the Fiat G91 fighter bomber. They had an aerodynamic by a high swept wing and had a Rolls-Royce Spey engine, could achieve 1,000 kilometers an hour. So So I don't know if this is a repop. It says it's new mold, so there you go. So
I don't recall seeing this.
Yeah, it says new mold. So, and I know some people were excited when it was announced. So it looks good.
And it's not related to Studio Ghibli.
No, it's not.
We presume not.
We hope not. No, we definitely hope not. Let's hope not. That looks pretty nice. Nice looking built up thing. Then we have their 124th for Freightliner heavy dump truck for the truck guys. This looks like a repop. But again, nice looking. You got 5 different markings for it, 5 license plates. Late 70s sort of thing. You see these by the dozens on the road still. Nice one there. Then we have the M1A1 Abrams 135th scale, 4 marking choices on the box, various camo schemes, including one in the Australian Army. So you don't see those too often. So our friends in Australia will like that. A couple in U.S. and European ones, European schemes, one in the desert scheme. So, nice looking one there. And last but not, this one I'm really excited. I remember these when I was a kid. The 1/12 scale F-16 cockpit. I remember seeing this, and I wanted this so badly. They did this one, and they did an F-104 cockpit. And great scale if you really want to detail it up. And of course, what everyone loved was the F-16 had the seat on the angle, more of an angle to help with G's. That was very new at the time. 115 parts, fully detailed ACES 2 ejection seat, complete cockpit dials and decals. And you could build this up pretty good without photo etch or anything. At the time, it came up nice, and it's a nice looking kit if you like the F-16. I've seen these once in a while. You've seen these in the wild, but it's nice that they're repopping it.
I don't recall ever seeing this at shows more than maybe once or twice.
You didn't see them a lot. I remember seeing the odd one in the store, and I keep, it's one of those ones. It's like, do I or don't I? If I ever saw it for a good deal. But it was quite the thing. And I said they had the F-104, and I was always kind of hoping they'd do a few more, like an F-14 one would be cool, but obviously the market wasn't there. But it's nice to see they are repopping it. So a little bit of a trial. Okay, for the armor folks, IBG's 135th Chevrolet C60L ambulance. This is a new one. We have the box art and some CAD images. I know the armor guys will be excited about this.
Yeah.
Sure. Cab 11, Cab 12, Cab 13. The war began. Produced both companies. This is Chevy and Ford produced more than 500,000 units. So yeah, some nice photos from our friends at the Modeling News, and the CAD images look good. Again, I don't know how accurate they are, but they look nice to me. So yeah, any other comments on this one?
No, looks great. Another soft skin vehicle to add to the model tables.
Full interior.
You're going to see a lot of these showing up on the tables with dings and scratches.
Hopefully.
Yeah, exactly.
It's built for that.
Exactly. All right. And then this one's very exciting. So
I like this one.
I'm using Hobbies, the Abrams 10 or the Abrams X, whatever you want to call it. This is the next generation Abrams tank. So General Dynamics they officially unveiled its future main battle tank concept late in 2022. So basically, it's kind of what they feel like this is what's going to be next for tanks after the M1. So it looks badass. It's a highly revised turret that features multiple electro-optical sights, remote weapon station, sporting a 30 mil chain gun. It's in futuristic urban camouflage. It's got a 120 millimeter cannon. But it's a hybrid powertrain. General Dynamics says this will result in a 50% fuel saving. A hybrid diesel-electric system will allow it to operate silently while sitting idle and possibly for short durations at low speed. Yeah, because tanks are kind of noisy. You kind of hear them coming.
And they sit there burning fuel to run their air conditioning.
Yeah. So the other interesting thing, which is kind of like you don't see very often in Western armies, but obviously they think they have all the bugs out of it. Unmanned turret. It's going to have an auto-loading ammo system. Wow. The Soviets were big on that, but there was always trouble. So the crew goes from 4 to 3. And basically everyone's in the main hull. So no one's in the turret anymore. It's 20 tons lighter than its predecessor.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
60
huge.
tons. Yeah. That's a big thing. And so they had this at various armor, defense shows and all that. So yeah, they're going to, Amusing's going to build this.
Yeah. 20 tons lighter, it might actually be able to cross bridges.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, it's only 60 tons as opposed to 80 tons.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is just CAD so far. Unmanned turret. There's a remotely controlled, MG side skirts. Oh, there's also the Switchblade drone that the real thing can launch. So that's like that German one we looked at.
Yes.
So it's going to have its own drone. So that'll be a fun one. Yeah.
Just look at the front on view. Doesn't this tank look like it's got an attitude? It's got the two eyes, the twisted little mouth on it and everything.
They better not put AI in it or we're all doomed.
I know.
Ogre
already.
Well, this essentially is an Ogre Mark 1, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Let's just not
Mark 2 adds the AI.
Yeah, that's right. Then we're all screwed. Exactly. I know. All right, moving on. This one I'm kind of excited about. Again, not too much of a surprise. TACOM's been making all sorts of different turret from classic ships. So this time they have the HMS Hood, the 15-inch gun turret B from the Hood. And this is gorgeous. So this would be the second turret. Very cool. They have looks like a little hedgehog system on top or something.
I think it is a hedgehog.
It's a hedgehog, yeah. Looks like it.
Looks like it, yeah. Got the range finders on either side.
Yep.
Yeah.
Large base, because again it's the number 2 turret. You got photo etch. So yeah, this is gonna be nice. And again, you've seen the other ones, the Bismarck and other turrets. So yeah, this is quite the popular thing they started, and it's obviously doing well because they're continuing. So this one's 32 centimeters in length, 1/72nd scale. Very cool.
That's a good size.
That's a good size. It's a big gun.
Yeah.
Absolutely big gun. Okay, next up we have Revell's going to come out with a 24 scale N1 Starfighter from the latest season of The Mandalorian. So this is the modified one with all the, shall we say, modifications.
This is the replacement for the Razor Quest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And this looks absolutely badass.
Yeah, there was a test shot, and it did look good.
Looks very good. Yeah, I wasn't that interested in the original, but this one I would probably, 24 scale, 90 pieces. And I'm sure there'll be photo etch and other things coming out eventually. So this is an early work in progress from Revell. They do say that on their photos. And of course, there's an extra seat for Grogu. Of course, you need to have your Grogu figure. So I've still got to watch. I'm about 3 left to watch. I'm so far behind on my sci-fi. It's not funny. So
someone's gonna come out with the resin or 3D printed British helmet droids. Those little Three Stooges type droids that work on it.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're already out. Yeah, that would be cool. Make a little diorama of them fighting. Certainly. Yeah. Stooge droids, exactly. Okay. Also from Border, along with big things, we have the 1/35th scale from the Russian-Japanese War in 1905, a 28-centimeter howitzer. This is a big beast. Big-ass gun with the rotating base for it. These were used. It was developed around 1892, and it was employed in the Second Sino-Japanese War and the Russian-Japanese War during the siege of Port Arthur. So, yeah. Bloody huge. I bet that would make a hell of a lot of noise.
Interesting. Yeah, you see some of these historical mortars, and you're like, how did that even? It must have worked.
Yeah.
How did they move it?
Yep.
Oh, they have to pick it up with a crane or what?
Yeah,
just to move them around. But yeah, the ones that's on that rotating base, it kind of stays there.
They also reactivated them at the end of the Second World War for coastal defense because they were anticipating the Allies. There was 13, and then Soviet during the invasion of Manchuria in 45 by the Russians, they deployed 2 batteries in an area, and and there's one still done restored. Yeah, this looks really nice. They only have box art and CAD images so far, but coming soon. So definitely, again, another interesting release from our friends at Border. Okay, my good friends at Special Hobbies, lots of good news there. I just, again, wanted to link to their awesome newsletter because they always talk about cool things. They are talking about the top rated and the best-selling model kit was the AH-1G Cobra that received the Model Fan Model of the Year award at Nuremberg. So yeah, they've got a whole bunch of stuff there. They're also talking about some of the re-releases, including the Seafire. Lots of 3D printed stuff. Stuff we've covered a little bit, but again, they do have a couple of releases, including the 148th 1QS Cobra in U.S. and Turkish Army service, the Mirage F1, and this is an Iraqis. And my understanding is you don't see these Iraqi schemes too often of the Mirage F1. And then, of course, that very attractive-looking Seafire FR, the Mark 46, and, of course, mass for them all the usual amazing things. I love the little World War II aircraft maintenance toolbox in 1/32nd scale. That's kind of cool. Pilots, the Bofors set, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And then I did want to point out they did have, and I know a lot of naval guys, aviation guys will be interested. They are going to come out with a T2 Buckeye in 1/32nd scale.
Yeah.
In various screens. Yeah, I know a lot of guys who like U.S. maritime aviation. They're going to like this. A couple of schemes there. So they're going to have one with a white, blue, red machine for the Navy and one from Greece. And I'm sure there'll be aftermarket stuff. So very early in the thing. But yeah, that looks interesting. That looks very nice. And I know that will attract some attention. All right, our good friends at Tamiya, they've been busy with Shizuka and everything. So this is their July releases. Couple of dinosaur sets that they've released. We have talked about the Lockheed Mark and the F-35, the Lightning II. We've talked about it already, but that officially comes out. I know it's already made its way to a couple of our fellow podcasters' houses. So, we know they'll be working on it. I did hear something about you can't build it with the weapons bay open, I heard. So there might be an aftermarket, some stuff there.
I would think so.
Yeah. And then under tools and paint, I don't know why they have monorail train, but it's a model of a monorail train.
Well, it's more like a little toy monorail
train.
Yeah,
I think that, yes. A single rail. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, they do a lot of scientific stuff too.
I
to
want a
me.
hobby. I want a hobby workshop where I can have a little monorail going around the
Yeah.
top, like the train at Zips.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So they have the base train, and then looks like you get some extra rails. So that's kind of cool as well. All right. This one I saw a while ago, like about a week or two ago. Then I saw the official release on Armorama. This is just kind of cool. This is a 135th Fuse 65 Würzburg Reese radar from Holler. So this is a German radar set dish, resin, photo etch, laser cut, and clear photos. And just look at the detail on this thing.
This is a definite photo etch. Has to be your friend for this one.
Yeah. Ian would love
yeah.
this. Yeah, but like, look at the parts. Like, this is very cool. And again, if you're into the photo etch and that, then, and again, similar to like people are building turrets, so why the heck not?
And this is the kind of thing that would be great for like steampunk, sci-fi, messing around with it.
35th scale, so you can put whatever in you want. So yeah. And they also did, they were also used after the war. So the Dutch got some, and they used it for some early radio astronomy. So yeah. And apparently a couple were used until 94, and one is still occasionally used for experiments from an article. That's one of the comments. So I love this. Give border models a little while. We might even see a 135th B-17 Flying Fortress to round it all out.
Yeah, exactly. I looked at this and I immediately had like, post-traumatic stress or maybe photo etch traumatic stress just looking at this.
I know. I look at that and but some guys are just going to do a fantastic job on it, but I had to include that.
Oh, yeah.
That was really cool. And I know we talked about this one at our last build night for people who don't have enough big things. JetMad, our good friends at JetMad who like building big things. 148 scale Lockheed P2 V7 Neptune. It's late. It was supposed to be released
if you've got
year.
a 48 scale B-25,
well, exactly,
or stuff on your bench, it's the same size. But yeah, all these Lockheed naval patrol aircraft are fantastic, and I did sign up for information on it. It will be available with a 20% discount for reservations until July 31st.
There you go, Terry. There you go.
Don't let it slip if you want one of these.
And if Terry gets one, we're sure to have it.
If I buy one, I'm going to have to, like I did with another big purchase, I'm going to have to sell enough stuff to offset it.
Isn't that always the way, right?
Birds of the stash.
Birds of the stash. All right. Okay. And speaking of having to sell stuff for what we need to purchase, let's separate Jeff from his wallet by going to ScaleMates, the new releases and new tool, just to see what they have. Let's see here.
Okay, I looked at this immediately, and the thing that grabbed my attention is the one without a picture. It says check back.
Yeah, Voyager 1, Space 1999 from June 13th, Time Slip Creations.
Yeah, but what is Voyager 1?
I think it was their long range probe. It was destroyed when the moon had the explosion. It had an eagle head. It was like a very long. It looked a little bit like the Discovery, but you slapped an eagle head on the end.
All right. Well, I want to see this. I have no idea, but I want to see this.
All right.
Well, Time Slip does it. It'll be nice.
Yeah. And let's see some armor here. A Beowulf, because they just released one in the 116th. So, a cat in 172nd. What's this Ultra Hawk from Wave? 1-144. Looks like something from anime.
Yeah.
That looks cool though.
Apparently it's from the Ultra 7 series.
Okay.
Yeah. You skipped right over Gecko Models, Saigon shuttle tricar with driver and passenger.
And the storage container set. How could I do that? My goodness.
How could
yes.
you do that?
I know. What else here? Let's see. Let's go down to just keep going. Anything we talked about the Abrams. Bumblebee from the Transformers, new tool Bumblebee, new tool Optimus Primal, Optimus Prime.
There's lots of small airplanes.
Yes, Arsenal's releasing a bunch of stuff in both 350 and 700th for aircraft. So they've got an E2 Hawkeye unfolded, Sky Rays,
Sky
Demons,
Warriors, Sky Rays.
all different scales for various, for your carriers. of all the various schemes folded, like an absolute ton, and different marks too, right? They got the EA3B, they got the A3D2. You know,
Like some of the detail on these things is insane.
I know.
I'm looking at the 84 Skyraider folded wings. That looks fantastic. That's 1/700 scale.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Scary.
That's crazy.
Well, you know, you do have a. I'm just saying, you have a carrier in your stash, and it does have Hawkeyes. Just saying on your Enterprise. I'm just not that I'm trying to start anything.
What period was it? The Vietnam period.
It's the Enterprise, so he could do it
But
from.
It's post. It's after they did the refit to get rid of the square. What was it called? The weird tower that they had. I can't remember what they called it, but it was.
It was the later version. That's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, all sorts of neat stuff there. And then we have what else? What else? Anything else? Anyone else see anything neat? We talked about the Tiger. Why did I get back to June suddenly? Wow, that's weird.
Yeah.
I'm back in April.
Yeah, I know that's weird.
Strange.
ScaleMates had a little burp, I think.
Yeah, nothing much happening there. I must.
June 8th. Here we go. I reloaded. Let's see here. No, it's still going back.
Hey, Stuart, are you keeping your ScaleMate stash register up to date?
Oh, never. I got so much behind there. It's not funny.
I got mine up to date.
You got yours up to date?
No, I got to add Thunderbird 2.
You got to add Thunderbird 2. All right. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. I reloaded it. And now I'm getting a lot more stuff. Here, let me send you the chat, gentlemen, and the link, and try that one. Because this one has a lot more stuff. June 3rd, the Flying Saucers, 1/350th again, from Modeler's Headquarters. Look at all this stuff. A lot of experimental stuff, a lot of 3D printed stuff. Die Glock, whatever the Die Glock is. M40, 1/35th scale. Like,
I'm getting the same ones.
oh, interesting. All right, let me try to reload. But anyway, because I've also got here the Sea Brace trolleys.
Yeah,
Nautilus
and there's
models.
yeah, and they did a display catapult base. It's not a full catapult; it's just a section of it.
Yeah. So again, all sorts of cool things coming out. We are indeed in the golden age. Do we need to say anything else? We just need to say yes, we're in the golden age.
Yeah,
So,
yes. And
that's
soon
right.
we will be gone.
That's from our good friends at ScaleMates. All right. Speaking of good friends, we talked about Steve at Cult TV Man before, but let's do an official ad for him right now. Let's talk a little bit about Cult TV Man post Wonderfest edition. I know Steve and his bunch had an absolutely amazing time at Wonderfest. Huge crowds, huge number of kits there, as we've been talking about. But let's talk about specifically what they had. Lots of new announcements. The Aurora Witch has deluxe art box packaging from Doll and Hobby. The Prehistoric Scenes Cave Bear and Saber-Toothed Tiger from Atlantis. Round 2 and an absolute ton of stuff. Star Wars Land Speeder 112, an updated Death Star TIE Bomber, USS Cerritos from Lower Decks, Klingon Battlecruiser, the 1650th reissue, the Enterprise D, the 1400 issue in translucent plastic, the USS Enterprise from Strange New Worlds with updated parts, a reissue of the Discovery Enterprise Aztec decals, the 1003 Fit and Reliant Aztec decals, and the Enterprise D Aztec decals. Also, some previews from AMT, the Shadowmobile, the Interceptor, and the UFO from Jerry Anderson's UFO series for 2024. Lots of other stuff. Jurassic Park Spinosaurus, the Wolfman, Bride of Frankenstein, Frankenstein and the Mummy from X+, a seated Metropolis robot, Marilyn Monroe, the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, all details to come. So again, just amazing stuff. If you want to know what else is out at the store right now, they've got the Fly glow-in-the-dark version from Monarch Models. Of course, the Ed Roth Boss Fink from Atlantis. See how excited I am? Also, Gamera 1999 from X Plus 1/700 scale. You could do some pretty cool diorama ideas there with the big giant turtle, friend of all children. The Scorpion Studebaker Gasser Keeler's Custom in 1/25th. Check that out. And of course, Aztec paint masks for Eagle 4 from our good friends at Aztec Dummies. So again, check them out, culttvmanshop.com and Cult TV Man, and tell them the Scale Model Podcast sent you. Okay, we're back. I had a little bit of time on the bench. Guess what? I found that missing landing gear bay.
Where was it? You say it was right in front of you.
Okay. So I was on a chat session with like Dave Goldfinch and a couple of guys from the posse and stuff like that once in a while. I was telling them about it, and then I looked over because I was trying to reach for something. It was on a paint stick because I needed to finish doing a second coat, and it was on top of a display. It was on top of one of my set of drawers, but when I sit, it's just out of reach. It's kind of towards the back, but it's like I saw it and I went, son of a, and they go, what?
You put it somewhere safe, didn't
I know
you?
I did, obviously. So,
and you'll never find it again.
so, I got wound up appropriately, but that's good because I was able to paint that. I got the landing gear on. She's on her feet, and all I've got is just a couple of little parts left. So it should be done by tomorrow, I'm hoping. It looks good. I could have weathered it more, but I like what I've done. Thanks to Mike Hill for the Australian decals. And this was for the Model Airplane Maker, the Scale Airplane Maker Let's Get Pacific group build. But it was a lot of fun. I did enjoy doing it. You always learn something new. I had two interesting things. So I used the AK Gen 3. I used it for the underside and for the green color. And then I didn't have the brown color in that particular paint set because it included the gray, like the later schemes, but this one used the brown. So I used the Tamiya, and Tamiya has a new color for Japanese self-defense force brown. I think it's XF72, and people are saying it's closer to the color, and I have to admit it is. I got that, but again, no issues. They happily played nice together. I put a base gloss coat on, kind of a semi-gloss. I just put a couple of coats on the aqua gloss. The decals from Mike went on very, very well. So yeah, it's just the last little, couple of bits, antenna and stuff like that. So I was really pleased. The only bummer part was I had the micro solutions, the masking fluid. I've never had problems with it, but this time, for whatever reason, it didn't like the AK. I had a devil of a time getting it off. So that was interesting. I got it off eventually, but it was a lot of fingernail rubbing off and that. So I'm going to have to watch that, and I'm going to test that again because it was the AK color. It wasn't the Tamiya, because the Tamiya normally just comes straight off. So that was good. And then next up, of course, the MiG-37. It's been primed. I'm just making the final choice of what I'm going to do for a what if. I've been debating between Macross. I've got some Captain Scarlet decals. I might, although in the end, I think I'm going to do another RCAF what if. I'm going to do like the counter to the F-19 and say, a Russian scientist, Mr. MiG, decided to defect because when he was here once, he discovered a love of maple syrup and poutine. I think I'm gonna write it up that way. So we'll see what happens. It's a nice looking kit, and then I'm really having a devil of a time deciding what to do next. So we're gonna see. We're gonna have a look. I'm off for 2 weeks on holiday, so that's kind of nice. Hopefully, I'll get some more bench time. Jeff, how about you? You are doing the most interesting things right now.
Well, I've been doing a lot of work around the house because a friend of my daughter's wants to have her wedding here, so we're trying to get it sort of set up for that.
Are you charging them the appropriate amount?
Yeah, nothing.
Have you got insurance? Have you got insurance? That's our classic battle for the show.
Yeah, no, the insurance is pretty cheap and it's easy enough to get. So that's not a problem. We've had three weddings. We've had three daughters, 3 weddings. So
there you go.
Keeps I'm a believer in don't spend your money on one day for a party.
Right on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good for you.
But so we're doing that, but I'm also still disassembling a whole bunch of these kits that I picked up from a fellow club member who was selling them for a money drive for the RCAF social group, 447 wing. And anyway, I got a bunch of these. A bunch of them, as the paint comes off, they're good solid resin kits.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm working on a couple of plastic ones that are not the best kits, but they're kind of interesting subjects. And one of them is the Savoia Marchetti S55X, which is the twin-hulled flying boat from the 1930s.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's coming apart better than I thought. I mean, keeping it overnight in this kind of purple stuff that some other club members recommended to me just strips the paint right off. And so I got these little hulls here, two of them, just whee!
I remember last week during the build night you were doing some of that, and we were all following along in bated anticipation.
Yeah, but the tricky part was, and this was what I was doing on build night, was trying to pry the parts apart, along fragile glue lines without having things shatter, and that was more successful than I thought it was going to be. And I suspect I'm going to come across. I got another one that I've wanted for years, a 1/144 scale Martin Mars bomber, water bomber.
Nice.
Ooh. Yeah, and these were all built by a modeler who was sort of not a bad modeler, but didn't have an airbrush. So most of them are hand painted, so thick paint, and some paint lines and stuff like that, and also didn't necessarily sand all the seams and things like that. So taking them apart, cleaning them up, and rebuilding them, it's kind of like I'm trying to bring them up to modern standards. So I'm looking forward to it. It's actually a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be, and I figured it was going to be a struggle. And I know a lot of guys will look at me and say I'm stupid and crazy, but I kind of enjoy this resurrection trick that I'm working on. So kind of fun.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. All right, Mr. Terry.
Well, my standard post Wonderfest exhaustion, and then my routine is generally to clean the place up, to clean this up after Wonderfest, get stuff out of there, figure out what needs to be built, because I got those Babses done.
That's right.
And and some other stuff. I got a couple things I got to fix up, but then figure out which of my half-built projects I want to try to get moving.
Yeah, I keep debating I should go back to the shelf of shame. The shelf of shame for the next one.
Yeah, Neil and I were talking, and Anthony on the way back, because Anthony drove out here, and then all three of us drove down to Wonderfest.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so that was kind of nice. He was saying that Tamiya rattle can, like gloss aluminum stuff, he put, and Neil wins golds with his experiments.
Yeah.
And that's like, oh no, I just put it in there. It's like, yeah, but he said the rattle can lacquer is so glossy, you put the airbrush the standard Tamiya paint over it, and you can just flake it off.
Wow.
You don't need any hairspray or anything like that. And I've got this Kawanishi Japanese fighter over there that I was playing around. I wasn't experimenting on that, but I was experimenting on another kit, just a paint mule, to see what I could do.
Interesting.
So you need to do that. Their gray paint underneath was really pretty good, but the top level paints would always flake off. I don't know if that was UV damage or something, maybe.
Yeah.
But it would just flake off like nothing. So maybe I'll apply some of Dave's techniques and get a good hard lacquer gloss coat on, and then see if I can just put on a couple thin layers of Tamiya green, and
there you go.
Just flake it off with a toothpick.
Well, I found, again, I'm still reading the history of the Battle of Midway, and it's, again, more things I'm learning about the Japanese aircraft industry. There might be a Japanese aircraft or two one day in the future in my stash.
Well, I mean, if there's something you don't have and you want, I might have doubles of stuff. So
Exactly. All righty, Mr. Ward.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, Shelf of Doom. I got to go back there, and a while back I started a beast, Academy 132nd F-18. I think I mentioned this on a prior podcast. Yeah, it's
I'm not done yet. What the hell?
Yeah, go figure, right? Yeah, it hit the Shelf of Doom. It got in the way of other stuff. So, I know the pilot, really want to build it for my brother-in-law. So my goal is to re-engage that and really get it done by October for our show here in Cincinnati, and then hopefully make that a Christmas gift. So, that's first on the agenda right now. Cleaned up, Terry's bench. I don't know. It looks like organized chaos. I think you're in good shape, Terry. It looks good from here. But I got back from Wonderfest, cleaned up the bench, got rid of all the stuff that was in the way. So now I'm ready to start building. So I've got that. I've got the USS Ward. First kill in World War II. I want to do that, and after that, it's on to Wonderfest 24. So that's what's on the bench.
Well, make sure you send me some box pictures of the Ward.
Yeah,
and where we are on the F-18. Because you were working on that last time you were on.
Yeah. I got sidetracked and quite frankly, put it aside and didn't touch it for a while.
Yeah. That's all right. That's all right. Yeah, I think we all kind of do that. Like I said, I did a big clean and reorg of my workbench a couple of months ago, and I think once I get the MIG done this week, when I'm off, I think there might be a round 2. We'll see.
What is Terry playing with there?
There's the head of the woolly rhino. I mean, look at the size of that beast.
Holy cow, he's got a big horn.
Yeah.
But
that's a horny rhino.
And there's our I was gonna title the episode post Wonderfest.
That's your outro, the horny rhino.
Yeah, now I'm really wondering what he's gonna do for the outro. Oh brother. All right. So let's talk a little bit about Sean's custom model tools. I should point out he's got some new stuff coming out soon, and Anthony and I are going to do a little video review. So look for that coming soon. It'll be available to our Patreons. But let's see what else he has to say today. Now we're going to talk a bit about Sean's Custom Model Tools, one of our other sponsors of the Scale Model Podcast. Some very cool things, both 3D printed and the Goodman Super Sanding Blocks. Let's start with the Microset and Microsole Decal Set Bottle Stand. This is purposely designed for the microscale set and sole. Most modelers over the years, they've tipped these bottles over. So this is a very handy thing. At $14.95, you can put them both together. They're printed in blue and red for easy identification. Comes with a black base, and they actually have little magnets on it, so helps keeps them in place. Definitely a good deal. I use mine all the time, and I can well recommend them. Let's talk a bit about those Goodman Model Super Sanding Blocks, namely the Value Pack Combo for $28.99. You get the 80 grit, 180 grit, 220, 320, 400, and 600. Just an amazing set, just what you need. And you can also, if you want, you can also get a super sanding block stand for it, which also really makes life a little bit easier, helps things keep it organized. The other thing too is they have the awesome model tape dispenser for your various tapes. It's basically a 3D printed thing. You put spools of your tapes. It's got a little razor blade to help cut it, and it's really, really good design. So yeah, works out really well, and yours for $19.95. So check out these and other amazing deals at Sean'sCustomModelTools.com, and also on Facebook, and tell them that the Scale Model Podcast sent you. All right. Well, things we've seen, we can basically just say, go and look at Wonderfest pictures, right?
Yeah. That's all I did all weekend. Yeah. I was living vicariously through you guys, apart from the drink part. Yeah, same here. I was doing the same. Not as much drinking either. I'd be asleep by then. I did want to point out, as you know, regular listeners, we did have the president of IPMS USA on last week, David, and we have not had an episode with so much interest as that one. That one, which is the interview segment, and the full episode broke all records. It's good to see, things happening. Again, I just want to reiterate that I was actually pretty impressed by some of the commentary out there in the Facebook groups and that. It was reasonably civil, and people wanted to look at change. Mike, I'm putting you on the spot here because you're an IPMS chapter. Was there any discussion down there?
Yeah, we had some discussion. We thought it was a rather surprising, article to start with. But as we dug in deeper, we thought, well, maybe some things need to be reviewed before they're put in print. Careful what you write, or somebody always said, be careful what you put in print. So I think we had a little discussion around it, but I think all in all, this is a hobby for everybody. You can't limit it to just a certain organization or club. We come to the shows, our shows, it's not limited to IPMS members. We open it up to everybody. You look at the slogan, for modelers by modelers. So it's we welcome everybody. If you're in the club, fine. If not, that's fine too. You're welcome to enter, and we're gonna judge your model, and you could win an award. There's no strings attached. So exactly. I think we just need to move forward and continue the hobby and support everybody.
Excellent. No, and that's it exactly. And I know David's indicated they want feedback. If you have ways, and they're in the area, there's going to be a lot of change, and we've talked about this before on the show quite a bit. It's one of the reasons I started the podcast, because there is the hobby's not dying; it's evolving, just like the model railroad hobby or anything else. So definitely check that out. All right. So anyone else have anything to add before we go to the outro?
Nope.
Bueller, anyone?
I don't think so.
All right. So
We got some more lightning out here, Stuart. Just letting you know. It's
all
coming
right.
here.
Oh, I better get off the
we
air.
better get off the air. Okay, so we're also sponsored by our good friends at Return to Kitform. Check out their web store, return the number 2, kitform.com. You're looking for masks for your Macross. You see like Anthony's Valkyrie at the show and some other ones. You want some masks? Check them out for those, for the canopies. For more modeling podcast goodness, check out the other modeling podcasts at modelpodcast.com. There you can find a whole page of all the other different podcasts. Check them all out. As always, try and leave us a positive review, preferably 5-star. It does help get the podcast out to more people potentially, and we can find some more listeners. We do have a page on Facebook, YouTube, of course, and our very own website, scalemodelpodcast.com. And that's where you can see our amazing show notes, our amazing show pictures, and our brand new merchandise page. I had to get that in there. So
I had to get that in there.
Had to get that in. Don't forget the merch. So for episode 119, my name is Stuart Clark.
I'm Jeff Highland. That's Michael Ward.
Michael Ward, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Representing
Cincinnati Scale Modelers.
There you go.
And I'm Terry Measley, reminding you not to forget your bottle opener.
Excellent. Well done. Thank you, and be well.